Think African women have always been in the background? Think again, from queens to CEOs, they've been running the show since forever, sometimes with a crown, sometimes with a clipboard. African women weren't just sitting pretty, they ran the marketplace like pros. But then, colonialism rolled in, flipping tables and handing them, well, more laundry. But you can't keep a good queen down. African women have regrouped and re-strategized. Fast forward to today, and African women are smashing every ceiling they find. In tech, they are coding. In construction, they are building. On stage, they are dropping truth bombs. No cap. African women are the roots, trunks, and branches of resilience. The fruit is a legacy of greatness that keeps growing. Africa isn't a one-size-fits-all story. In Ghana's Asante culture, women were respected but often kept from leadership roles. Still, respect meant influence, not invisibility. In cultures like the Asante of Ghana, women were respected but kept from certain roles, like participating directly in leadership. But don't let that fool you. Respect was more than lip service. Yes, women often juggled traditional roles like childbearing and home tending, but they turned those skills into societal superpowers. They had a voice in politics. In many African societies, women helped decide who got to be king, because who knows better about ruling than the real rulers of the home? Markets weren't just places to argue. They were empires ruled by women. From West to Central Africa, women ran vast trade networks like seasoned CEOs, keeping commerce alive and thriving. Socially, women weren't just contributors. They were the architects of culture, from music to festivals to community gatherings that defined their societies. According to historical_fact 12, in matrilineal societies like the Ashanti, power flowed through women's lineage. They were the keepers of continuity, passing down knowledge and traditions with every generation. In the Mali Empire, women thrived in every role, from running trade networks to leading agricultural efforts. The Dahomey Amazons were the ultimate squad goals. These fearless women could outfight, outthink, and outlast their enemies, leaving a legacy that still inspires today. Women weren't just warriors and traders, they were spiritual leaders too. As priestesses and queen mothers, they shaped traditions, guided kings, and made decisions that defined communities. Pre-colonial African women weren't just part of the system, they were the system. Brave, strong, and determined, they showed that leadership isn't about gender, it's about impact. Ever heard the phrase, sent back into your shell? Well, colonialism didn't just send African women. It shoved them and slammed the door shut. Before colonialism, African women were the decision makers. After, they were left knocking on doors they used to walk through like they owned the place, because they kinda did. The shift was undeniable. The once empowered African woman was pushed into the shadows, her voice confined to the home by education, religion, and colonial influence. Colonialism changed the whole system. Women who once ran markets found themselves sidelined as men stepped in. Call it a hostile takeover, colonial style. Culture wasn't just eroded, it was torn apart. Women were stuck between two forces, colonialists redefining their roles and patriarchy reinforcing the sidelines. Women were battling colonists and their own men, while still managing to hold everything else together. Heroes much? African women started to experience identity crisis too. Erin Bollat explains how African women compared themselves to white women, losing touch with their powerful roots. Thanks, colonialism. But here's the thing about African women. You can try to silence them, but they will find a way to roar. From passive roles to freedom fighters, they turned oppression into action. But silence didn't mean submission. The exclusion from politics and trade only fueled their determination to resist. African women weren't passive, they were quietly preparing to roar. Take the Abeokuta Women's Revolt, for instance. Funmilayo Ransome Kuti and her empowered crew weren't just marching. They were demanding liberation from unfair taxes and reclaiming their voices. She understood that social and political mismanagement wasn't just unfair, it was a call to action. Imagine if colonialism hadn't interrupted their progress. What heights could African women have reached? It's a story we'll never fully know, but one worth imagining. This was the comeback era, the renaissance for African women. They were done with being sidelined and ready to call the shots again. They fought for a seat at the table, and when there wasn't one, they brought their own chair and sometimes even swiped the one labeled privilege. Who says women can't multitask? Education became their weapon of choice. Forget what? These women were armed with books, pens, and the determination to rewrite the rules. This was feminism, African style. No nonsense, no limits. Activists weren't just challenging systems. They were redefining what it meant to be a woman, smashing stereotypes and glass walls along the way. As Furo Ajoy points out, activists weren't just battling colonial oppression. They were fighting against traditions and laws that boxed women in. Their mission? Smash those barriers, one wall at a time. Their fight wasn't just one battle. It was a whole series of them. Equality wasn't just about breaking free from colonial chains, it was about tackling centuries of ingrained bias. Women like Mabel Dove Dankwa of Ghana used words to shake systems, proving that the pen is mightier than the patriarchy. From boardrooms to parliament, African women stepped back into leadership roles, proving that breaking barriers isn't a trend, it's a tradition. The reform wasn't just for that generation, it was for the next. These women weren't just making history, they were building a foundation for the future. African women's reality has never been static. From warriors to activists to modern leaders, their journey is a testament to resilience, evolution, and an unyielding spirit for justice. Today, African women are navigating a path filled with others, fighting for rights, challenging traditions, and building a future where equality thrives. Their struggles and achievements are proof of one thing: resilience. They've redefined what it means to be an African woman in a post-colonial world, and they are not done yet. Rather than assuming African women had no voice, let's focus on what truly defines them: experiences, resilience, commitment, and the determination to step beyond the domestic walls. The fight isn't over, whether it's through tradition or modern movements. The fight is about one thing: ensuring African women thrive without losing their unique voice.